Welcome to this explainer. We're diving straight into the massive paradigm-shifting updates that hit Ancestry.com as of August 2026. If you're a family historian, a genetic genealogist, or honestly just someone obsessed with uncovering your roots, you already know the tools we use are always evolving. But what our source material reveals today isn't just a minor software tweak or a newly indexed collection of records. It's a fundamental shift in how genealogy is actually done. We're looking at a complete overhaul of the platform's core functionality, moving toward a deeply integrated AI-assisted methodology. So buckle up, because we're going to unpack exactly what these changes mean for your research.
Think about the old way we used to do this. Ancestry was basically a giant digital filing cabinet. You punched in a name, hit search, combed through endless indexes, and crossed your fingers for a match. You were doing all the heavy lifting. Well, a flurry of new features has totally transformed it into an active research environment. The new Ancestry acts as an active AI assistant. As you're building your tree, the platform is quietly analyzing your data in the background, identifying the gaps in your research, and actively suggesting your next steps. It's a complete shift from a passive repository to a dynamic, collaborative companion.
There's a quote from our sources that perfectly captures this whole shift. It says, "Ancestry is moving from being primarily a database plus family tree website toward becoming an AI-assisted research environment." This is a crucial distinction. We're all pretty used to AI chatbots writing out paragraphs of text by now, right? But what Ancestry has deployed goes way beyond that. The system is physically reading the handwriting on centuries-old census returns, it's cross-referencing public trees, and it's structuring your DNA network. It's actively interpreting the data to help you smash right through those stubborn brick walls.
So here is our agenda for this explainer. 1. The new AI era. 2. 6 research game changers. 3. Visuals, DNA, and storytelling. And 4. What's next for genealogists?
Section 1. The new AI era. From static database to dynamic companion. Out of all the platform updates rolled out in 2025 and 2026, our sources explicitly isolate 6 specific tools as the absolute game changers for a serious workflow. We've got full-text search, get ideas, census compare, custom DNA clusters, document transcription, and tree compare. We're not talking about cosmetic changes here. We're talking about tools that search word-level text inside unindexed documents or dynamically compare timelines side by side. These are the heavy hitters.
Which brings us to Section 2. 6 research game changers. Tools that alter your genealogical workflow. Let's kick things off with a feature called Get Ideas. Introduced in June 2026, this is arguably the most fascinating addition for an active researcher. You know those old static hint lists that just throw a document at you if the name matches? Get Ideas is totally different. It dynamically changes as you research. You click the button, and the AI examines the entire profile, the timeline, the records, the whole shebang. It might spot a gap and automatically suggest a tag like missing birth record. Then, it actually generates a specific action plan, telling you exactly what to investigate next. It's literally looking over your shoulder and advising you.
Now, to really appreciate our next major feature, we need to talk about fan research. This is a methodology focused on finding an ancestor through their community. If you can't find your great-grandfather in the records, you start looking for the people he interacted with, his friends, associates, and neighbors. The logic is simple. People didn't migrate or work in a vacuum. If you track the neighbor, you might just find your missing ancestor.
And that is exactly why full-text search is so mind-blowing. It uses AI handwriting recognition to let you search for witnesses, neighbors, or streets buried inside the actual text of historical documents. Historically, you could only search for the primary name indexed on a document, but now, Ancestry turns the entire document into searchable text, meaning if your ancestor was just a random witness to a neighbor's will or lived on a specific street mentioned in a deed, you can actually find them. This completely blows the lid off cluster research.
Next up is Census Compare, which fundamentally fixes such a frustrating practical problem. Before this, you had to open the 1880 census, scribble down the info, close it, open the 1900 census, and just try to spot the differences. Now you get a beautiful side-by-side examination across the US, UK, and Canada censuses. You can immediately see if an ancestor magically aged 15 years in a single decade, or if a household member suddenly vanished. It makes building those longitudinal timelines so much more efficient.
Tree Compare takes that side-by-side logic and applies it to other members' public trees. It visualizes exactly where your tree agrees with someone else's, and more importantly, where it differs. But hey, quick reality check here. While Tree Compare is an amazing discovery tool, agreement between 2 online trees is never proof that either of them is actually correct. Our sources explicitly warn that this tool is potentially dangerous if you use it uncritically. It's a compass, not a map. You still have to check the sources yourself.
Okay, let's talk DNA. Custom DNA clusters represent a massive shift. Previously, you were just staring at this overwhelming list of thousands of genetic cousins, treating it as one enormous pool. Now, you can pick one mysterious match, add a known sidekick match to act as an anchor, and tell the system to build a targeted custom cluster around just those specific people. You're basically building a temporary, highly focused research neighborhood to solve one specific genetic puzzle at a time. It's incredibly powerful.
Rounding out the game changers are AI document transcription and record image zoom. These are all about turning illegible, multi-language diaries into searchable evidence while allowing in-page detail zooming. You can upload images of old diaries or family postcards in multiple languages and instantly turn them into searchable text. And with the zoom feature, you don't have to keep opening new windows or downloading files just to read a tiny note squeezed into the margin. It keeps you entirely in the zone.
Moving right along to Section 3, Visuals, DNA, and Storytelling, the enhancers.
Now we're getting into features focused on presentation rather than raw research. These are the tools that take dry facts like born 1842, farmer, and turn them into engaging narratives. We've got AI Photo Insights, which suggests a time or location based on clothing or cars in a picture. There's Face Match, trying to suggest identities by comparing faces in Ancestry's collections. We also have AI Stories, transforming basic facts into narrated historical context. And finally, DNA macroregions, which brings visual updates to 68 European populations, making ethnicity estimates so much easier to understand.
But listen, there's an absolutely crucial quote from our sources here. The important caveat is that the results are suggestions, not evidence. When you're using tools like AI Photo Insights or Face Match, you have to remember that. An AI generating a hypothesis about a photo's era requires independent verification. Just because the system thinks a dress looks like it's from 1910 doesn't automatically mean it is. They generate wonderful hypotheses for sure, but you still have to rigorously test them against real records.
You'll also want to keep an eye on ancestry networks. This is a new framework announced at RootsTech 2025 to document an ancestor's broader community, coworkers, and religious associates. It's officially integrating that fan club-style research right into the platform's structure. It's moving beyond the traditional biological family tree to really map out the entire human experience of your ancestor.
And that brings us to Section 4. What's next for genealogists? Adapting to the AI assistant era.
So, with AI now reading documents, finding gaps, organizing DNA matches, and analyzing photos, what exactly is the genealogist's role in the future? As AI takes on the heavy lifting of identifying clues, the busy work is quite literally vanishing. The days of scrolling endlessly through unindexed pages are fading fast. Your role is elevating. You're no longer just a data gatherer. You are the lead investigator, the evaluator of hypotheses, and the ultimate storyteller. The tools have never been smarter, but it's still your family history. So, how will you direct your new AI assistant to solve your oldest family mysteries? The archives are waiting.